Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Christy, and today I'm going to be sharing 2 more takeout ideas that you can make at home. So today I am making some wings. I'm making some of them buffalo wings and part of them will be barbecue. So you saw I had an 8-pound pack of wings. I took these straight from my freezer, so they are frozen wings. And I'm going to fill up my Instant Pot with half that bag. So this is 4 pounds, and you'll see I'm pointing out that's the fill line. So I was just right at it. Add in a cup of water, and I'm not adding in any seasonings. You can find recipes that'll say you can add seasonings at this point, but I didn't. This was my first time trying wings in the Instant Pot, and they turned out great. You're going to set your pot to sealing, put it on 15 minutes manual pressure cook time. And then I'm going to go ahead and start mixing up my sauce. I do equal parts butter and hot sauce. So I have a stick of butter, which is a half a cup of butter and a half a cup of Frank's Red Hot. I put in some garlic powder. I don't really measure that. I just make sure it smells garlicky when I'm done. And then I put a little bit of salt in. You'll see it's not that much to taste. Just kind of bring out the flavors. And then I add a little bit of honey. Now, normally I would add half the amount of butter or hot sauce, which would be 1/4 cup. I did not have 1/4 cup. This was probably about 2 tablespoons, so half of what I would normally add. If you're not a big fan of that like kind of big spicy bite, but you like that vinegar based flavor of a hot wing, that's a great way to kind of tamper down the heat. When you add the honey to it, it helps on the heat. So those in my family who don't like spicy, they like it when I'm able to add 1/4 cup of honey. So that night we didn't, so they were a little spicier. Once they're done, they do a 5-minute natural release, and then I finish releasing the pressure. And then I opened the pot up and I pulled them out, stuck them in the bowl. And then I am just going to top them with that sauce and then pour them out into a lined sheet pan that has been sprayed with a little bit of vegetable oil spray. And they are going to go in the oven at 450 degrees until they start to look brown. And you'll see the difference between when they first go in the sheet pan and when they come out of the oven. So in my oven, this took about 10 minutes at 450. If your oven doesn't quite get them as brown as you'd like, just switch it over to broil, stay close by, and keep a watch on it. You just want it to kind of soak up that sauce and turn a nicer brown, because you're not going to get a browning effect in your Instant Pot. So you want to be able to take this extra step, putting them into the oven to get them a browner look and a crisper skin on them. So here I'm taking out the second batch, 4-pound wings, and I am tossing them just in a bottled barbecue sauce. So whatever's your favorite. If you like teriyaki, get a bottled teriyaki or make it homemade. They have those really good garlic parmesan ones that we like at the wing places. So I'm thinking I might try to find a recipe for that and toss them in some kind of garlicky parmesan. And I'll invite my father-in-law. He loves garlic, right, Pop? So here, these come out of the oven and they're nice and brown too. And so we just served these alongside of a salad bar. We'll do this some nights. We'll do baked potatoes and salad bar, or wings and salad bars, just something easy. We just throw all of the salad bar stuff out on top of our bar, and the family can come by and get their wings and make their own salad. So here's mine, a nice big plate full of salad and wings on the side with my blue cheese dressing. And it was delicious, and it was great to have. This is one of my favorite meals when we go out to eat, and I was able to make it at home, and it was cheaper. So next we were doing Friday night pizza night, and we're making the pizzas at home, so it's cheaper and better for us. So here I'm just starting with a pot that I put a couple of tablespoons of olive oil in and some garlic and about a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. And I just cooked that long enough just to kind of break it up and kind of get the aromas going. You want the oil to kind of help get that garlic and herbs from your bottled Italian seasoning kind of back to life. And then once that goes, I throw in a can of crushed tomatoes. This is one of those big squatty cans. It's like 28 ounces, I think. And I throw that in, and I just let that simmer. Oh, and a touch of red pepper flakes. And this is based on like how spicy you guys would like your pizza sauce. I always add extra red pepper flakes on top of my pizza, so I don't put a ton in the sauce. And I always add just a little bit of sugar, because whenever you're dealing with tomato sauce based things, all that acid needs a little balance of sugar, and then just a touch of salt too to bring out the flavors. But I like making my own homemade pizza sauce, but of course you could buy a jar of pizza sauce, and you could also just use like spaghetti sauce, marinara, that's sold in the store, and use that on your pizza. Doesn't have to be hard, just keep it simple. So on this night, we're also making our own homemade pizza dough, and this is super simple. This is Greek yogurt pizza dough. And so I've researched and we've tried different recipes, and this is our favorite concoction. And so it's basically, we found something like this on Food Network, but we've changed it up and kind of made it our own. We do 2 cups of self-rising flour or all-purpose flour, you can use either. We do 1 cup of Greek yogurt, and we use just plain Greek yogurt, full fat. And then we add a little bit of garlic powder and salt and pepper, because when we first tried them, the garlic dough recipes don't really call for adding much seasoning to it that we found, and it needed salt, it needed something. And so we decided to try salt, pepper, and garlic powder. And so we like it that way. It'd probably be good too to add a little bit of Italian seasoning into it, or if you had fresh herbs, you could put that into the dough. So just anything like that to kind of play around with it. But basically we just stick it in our mixing bowl with the knead attachment on there and let it go until it comes together. But you could literally just start stirring this up together and then knead it with your hand, just like a bread dough. And that's pretty cool to me, that Greek yogurt and flour, and you make a dough out of those 2 ingredients. But like I say, we definitely like to add the seasonings to it. So we just let it go until it forms a ball and comes away from the bowl. And then once that happens, we'll take it out and start to roll it out on the countertop. So we made this a family affair on a Friday night. My daughter's helping make the pizza dough, and I am gonna start chopping up some toppings. So here we've got bell pepper, onion, and some mushrooms. Everything's been cleaned, and then I'm just gonna start slicing it up. I only used half of an onion. Some of us eat it, some of us don't, so we only need a half, and I try to make sure and slice it very thin. And then the bell pepper, I slice it the way I like it. I don't like those big skinny rings of bell pepper. I like for mine to be like bite size. So if I get a hold of a piece of bell pepper, it's gonna all pop in my mouth at the same time. So here I'm just showing you that it's a thin slice that I like. So basically when you're making your pizza at home, just make it the way you would like your pizza to be. You can make it your perfect pizza. And we all, the 4 of us, it was me and my husband and our 2 girls here on this Friday night and doing pizza night and a movie. And so each of us were able to personalize our own small pizza, and we had leftovers from everybody's pizza for the next day, leftover for Saturday's lunch. But you just are able to customize your pizza and have the toppings that you like. And so here I'm just doing the mushrooms and slicing those up, and then I'll move on to the other toppings. So I found this Jimmy Dean Italian sausage at a discount store when we went to visit our son at school up in Hendersonville, North Carolina. And I got a 1-pound tube of Italian sausage from Jimmy Dean's for $1. It wasn't out of date or anything like that yet, so I was like, score. So we picked up 2 tubes of that. We hadn't tried the Italian sausage from Jimmy Dean like that before, so we thought we'd give it a try. So I decided to use it on this night as one of our toppings for our pizza. So we browned that up in the pan. We have that, and we have some olives. We just buy them in a can, and I've drained and rinsed them. And we've got our sliced up fresh veggies, and then our homemade pizza sauce, and we have some sliced packaged pepperoni and Italian blend cheese that's already shredded for us. So that will be our toppings for our pizza. So next we will show you how we roll out our dough and make our pizzas. So this is my pizza, and I'm getting it into a round shape because I am planning on cooking mine in a cast iron skillet. Everybody else's was made on a sheet pan, and so they didn't really care about what size they got theirs in, but I needed mine to be the shape of the skillet. And I'm going to show you the difference between cooking a pizza that you keep a little thicker in the dough versus one that you might want really nice and thin and put out onto a sheet pan. So I like, thick hand tossed or pan pizza when I go out and get pizza. So do you remember deep dish like at Pizza Hut back in the day when we were teenagers? That stuff was good, and you had to eat it like a knife and a fork, but that was the kind of pizza I like. My husband, he likes his, my daughter says, on a cracker. Like, he likes his so thin, it's like having your pizza toppings on a cracker. So that's him. But pizza at home, and everybody gets to make it the way they like it. So I'm just topping mine with my pizza sauce and my sausage, and then I throw on the cheese, and then I put all of my vegetables on top of the cheese because I like my vegetables to stick to the melty cheese. And this is my husband. He's going to be making his. So he has a sheet pan with his thin dough that he has had rolled out. And now he's going to be adding his toppings on there. And so each of us, we found, have a different way that we like to make our own pizzas. But that's part of the fun, is that everybody gets to get in there together as a family, put it all together and make it just the way each person likes it. And then you get to go sit down, watch the movie, and have fun eating it. Just made for a fun night on a Friday night. A good way to entertain everybody, and it was not expensive. So Neil is putting on his sausage, and then he'll add the rest of his toppings. It's funny because he decided that the best way was to put first layer of cheese down and then add a few more toppings and then add a second layer of cheese. And one of our daughters does the same thing. They said there's a science to it. So you'll just have to try your own way at home and see what you like. And let me know. You can leave it down in the comments if you try your own homemade pizza. How did you like yours best? And then next up, it's my girls, and they'll both make their own pizzas, and so we just put them on a sheet pan together and let each person add their toppings. If y'all hear noise while I've been recording this in the background, it is not construction going on at our house. It's a Saturday and everybody's home. So everybody except for my son, who's away at school, but the rest of us are all here, and so there's things like clanging and banging around. But if you hear them picked up on the mic, sorry, but not construction, just a normal day at our house. So this is how mine came out of the oven. We stick them in the oven at like 450 degrees, and they'll take anywhere from 8 to 12 minutes. Mine took a little bit on the longer side because it was in the cast iron skillet. But you'll see it got nice and brown, and there is a little bit of a lip to it. It kind of looks more like a pan pizza. And so I love that. And then Neil, this is his, and it came out after about 8 minutes because it was nice and thin. And I give you a little look. Yep, that's pizza on a cracker right there, folks. So, but he loves it, so he was happy. And the best part is just getting to take your food. You're in your pajamas. It's a Friday night. It's been a long week. You take that plate of food and you go sit down with your family and you enjoy your movie. So we watched, what was it? Captain Marvel. because I had never seen it, and it was so good. My kids had seen it. The girls had watched it before, and then Neil, he made it, I think, 5 minutes in, which, hey, was great. And then he took off to go see a basketball game or something that was on that night, but that was okay. So movies just aren't his thing. I thank y'all for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to see you here again. Thanks.